We have 2 Germans for you, and we're going to speak English now because it's fun. So,
Definitely.
yes. Hello from the Music Interview Corner, from the first ever Hellsinki Metal Festival with Blind Guardian, with Hansi. Hi, Hansi.
It's great to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for taking time for the interview.
My pleasure.
Now the Finns are being loud while the Germans are talking. What's going on here? So, first question, how does it feel for you to play here at the first ever Hellsinki Metal Festival as a headliner?
It is the first, yeah. Consider us not to be the headliner, but the first amongst many. It's great. We haven't played in Finland for a while. Finland is a metal country, and therefore we expect a lot from the audience. You know, we do not deliver, we just receive.
Good, that's a very good attitude. And your 12th album, The God Machine, I think it's the 12th. Okay. Yeah, the Germans are always very accurate. Like
bookkeeping is good.
Yes, yes. I think it is probably your 12th.
You're right, with the orchestral album, it might be, yes.
Yes. But your wonderful album, The God Machine, came out last year, September. In which way is it different from your previous albums?
It does not have to be different. We're good in any way and in any stage of our career, I have to say. You know, we put a lot of effort in every album. That hasn't changed ever since the beginning. It's a very spontaneous album, even though it took like 7 or 8 years to make it. But keeping that aside, it's a very aggressive album. It delivers our qualities, you know, and we're all in top form. What can I say, you know?
And I feel it goes back to the sound of your older albums in the beginning.
Yeah, right. But I mean, that's, as I said, it's a quality we're carrying along throughout the whole career. Maybe this is an album which is easier to receive by the fan than, let's say, something complex as Legacy of the Darklands or Beyond the Mirror had been. But in general, we always try our best.
I know, I hear it. Yeah, that's typical German to always give the best, right?
There's no other option.
Weißt du übrigens, der Tisch wackelt. Das ist keine deutsche Maßarbeit hier.
Extra nicht an, ja, exakt.
Wenn der Tisch aus Deutschland wäre, wäre das nicht passiert.
We have to learn.
Yes. We're gonna teach you.
Eventually.
And
We're good at that. Oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Germans are like Besserwisser.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Weißt du was, die Finnen haben ein Wort für Deutsche, das heißt Besserwisseri.
Ja, passt ja auch. Ja, ja. Deswegen sage ich auch nichts mehr.
Ja, oh nein, jetzt wollte ich dich nicht einschüchtern im Interview. Aber hast du, better back to English so you all understand, but do you have a favorite song on The God Machine?
I'd say Architects of Doom is my favorite at the moment because it's very intense and it shows the different side of Blind Guardian almost. It's very thrashy, it's very modern in a certain sense and still carries our handwriting throughout the whole song, and I like that.
And I heard also that there was one song that you were very proud of that could not be included in the album.
Oh yeah, that's I'm proud of the lyrics, and the song is great too, but it does not fit into the context. That's the reason why we haven't put it on there. And now I really have to think about what's the name of the song. It was called No Memories During Songwriting, and now I have it. The title now is Trial by Fire. It is inspired by Cervantes, and it's about book burning, you know, and how many times that actually happened also in the time of Cervantes. And it's a miracle how he maintained Don Quixote for publishing, and I'm quite impressed by the guy. So the Spanish have some great people as well.
Of course, of course. Now I really would like to hear the song. Do you think your fans will get the opportunity to hear it on a future album?
Yeah, I don't think on a future album. We either release it via whatever, the streaming things, or we do an additional version of The God Machine because it belongs into the context. Otherwise we would have to wait as long as it takes until we come up with an album like The Forgotten Tales or so, then that, you know, would be a very suitable song. It's a nice song, it's a rocking song, that's the reason why we didn't put it on there.
Oh yeah, I would really love to hear it.
Yeah, expect nothing but the best, but it's different from what is on the album.
Okay, cool. And what was the inspiration for the song Destiny?
Basically, we just started writing songs and I didn't know where to take the songs lyrically. But it always had that frozen topics, and I knew Frozen, the musical or the movie would not fit. and therefore I was, looking for something related to ice, and I ended up with Hans Christian Andersen's Ice Maiden, which is a very impressive, very dark love story, and yeah.
Made me cry as a kid.
Did it? Yeah, it's. I mean, if you know the story, I just found it by accident because I was looking for something which could probably fit, and I'm a big Hans Christian Andersen fan, but I did not know that story. It is, a very, very impressive, very sad story, and basically I think that is captured in the music very well. We're mainly following the Ice Maiden and how she, how she weaves her net around the boy, and how the story finally ends, and she's losing interest, and blah blah blah. So it's not the Snow Queen, or what's the other story called?
Was it Ice Queen? Oh, are we thinking now of Narnia? Ice Queen.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of Narnia with Ice Queen, but I know that's a different Ice Queen, but it's scary too.
Yeah, they all are. Yeah, but I think whatever the other story is called, that's the more famous one. Like, it's pretty much the same story than told in Frozen, but this one is a different story, far more brutal.
Yeah. Disney, for some reason, always takes Hans Christian Andersen's stories and turns them dark. Like also Ariel, Ariel die Meerjungfrau. It was much, much darker and scarier.
Some of the Czech adaptations, I think it's a Czech adaptation, which
is it?
Which is more faithful to the original story, and that is dark. Yeah.
Yeah. That also made me cry as a kid. Yeah. I'm deeply traumatized.
I was traumatized by The Wizard of Oz, by The Witch.
Oh, me too.
Oh, that's, understandable.
Yeah, that would have been one of my questions. Your band has always been very connected to sci-fi and fantasy books and movies. And I wanted to ask you, my first question would have been, what was your favorite of all time? What's your favorite fantasy or sci-fi book or movie of all time?
And it would be still The Lord of the Rings, but
I thought you would say that.
There are so many great stories, be it anything related to King Arthur, like Marion Zimmer Bradley. I don't even know now how the story is called. It's a trilogy, and she also wrote Firebrand, which is about the Battle of Troy, which was also, I didn't read it when I was a kid, but that left an impression.
Can you imagine? And that was my other question, besides The Wizard of Oz. Was there ever a movie, a sci-fi or fantasy movie or book or TV show that really scared you?
To a certain extent, Blade Runner does, still. Yeah. The idea of Philip K. Dick is so intense, and living in the age we're living in, it just proves, how smart he had been, like many other authors. They can scratch so many things, but that would be one of the movies I was, somehow felt sympathy with the victims, with the replicants, more than with the guy who was chasing them. But the whole story is traumatizing.
It is. Or maybe we can go even darker. What do you think the future of mankind might look like?
I'm very optimistic.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe that whatever we're doing, we cannot really do anything which, at the very end, turns bad. No matter how dark the road is, and we're facing, as in many cases before, dark times, but. There's a theory, which says whatever happens in the universe, at the very end will be something positive and productive. And I lean to that. I believe in a hidden force as well. So that gives me the strength. Call it God, yeah.
Like divine intervention.
Definitely. I mean, there is, whenever we are doing really bad things, I believe the hand of God is, intervening. But I also think that we are really not designed to finally do only bad things. We do mistakes. We have to learn.
That's a very good outlook. I also strongly believe in divine intervention, because I think we might not even be here without divine intervention anymore.
Yeah, I saw whatever it was, a TV series, and they were discussing about that. At the very least, you need to be agnostic, because there is no proof or evidence that there is no higher force. And as long as that is the case, and I assume it's going to be until the world end, eventually one fine day. We may get an answer then, but up to that, you will never have the proof for the other side. Science is great and evolution is great, and still, You know?
You can never prove it or disprove it.
Yeah, exactly. Like science is basically. So science has a bit of that religious aspect.
Yeah, science is kind of, scientists don't like that, but science is also like a religion sometimes, I feel.
Well, yeah.
Like a religious system, maybe.
In a terrible way. You know, if there is a discourse like it is supposed to be, then everything's fine. And if all aspects of science will be heard, you know, then you partly do not get a result, you know, as the effect, but you will proceed and you will progress, which you don't if you just listen to one part of science.
Yeah, like this is it, now shut up.
Yeah, and this is what we are educated during the last years a couple of times, and I'm shocked by that.
Exactly, me too. This is so like you're not allowed to say this or say this. You were not even encouraged to do your own research because you should just believe science.
Yeah, and it's like religion. In that case, you know, it's like the Inquisition, I feel sometimes. If the Holy Inquisition, and that's how Trial by Fire came together, you know, the Cervantes song, because you find that in history again and again and again, and it's always the same mistakes, you know, and like Galileo, for example, as a role model, you know, even he denied science. So, because he had to, otherwise they would have killed him. So it's understandable he did, but it was not, you know, that he was like, yeah, here I am, and you know, I stand with what I found out. No, he had to take a step back, and then eventually, as things went into the right direction, people recognized, oh, he might have been right.
Yeah, and I feel now these days we have cancel culture for that.
Oh yes, oh. Difficult topic, very difficult topic, and it's just spreading like a disease at the moment. But I see common sense that the discourse and the discussion between people is something which probably will end that eventually at a point. And I also believe that people recognize that you cannot relate everything without knowing all the context, like history. You know, Bismarck was a great politician, you know, and you cannot cancel a person like him. And this is happening constantly. Not saying he did great things all the time, but as a historical person, you have to show respect to him.
Yeah, I would always like to print T-shirts that say cancel culture, but I'm scared to get cancelled for it.
You should not, you know. It's nice talking about it, and I think a lot of people understand, and there's nothing wrong with it, you know. It's great to have a debate about everything, but sometimes it's worthless or useless really to dig too deep into that issue, because it's not one of the big problems we're facing at the moment.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Oh, and I also wanted to come back to your album again, the booklet of your album. You have a beautiful artwork that looks also almost divine, I would say.
I would say so too, yeah.
And you have a lot of other beautiful graphics and I would say artworks within the booklet. Can you tell us more about that?
They are done by Peter Morbacher, and we found him by accident. It was actually a suggestion by the record company who, you know, were just suggesting artists. And the whole band fell in love with the work of Peter Morbacher, who's living in Florida. And he has his art page called, I think, Angelarum, or Angelarum. And yeah, he's mainly dealing with divine beings, with his imagination of it. There's a link to, I think, playing game cards. I don't know, you know.
We find it and we put it in the description.
You should do, yeah. But I'm not sure if he worked for them, but there is a similar kind of approach to the art itself. But yeah, we fell in love with that character we've chosen, which is a fragile angel, but still strong, and I like that.
I love it. It looks amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, some people were confused because of the colors. I believe it fits, you know, and no one in the band had a doubt about it. So I think it was the right decision.
Good. I love it, and I think many fans love it.
Good.
And there are also pictures in the booklet, photos of you and your bandmates, where you look a lot like Men in Black. Was that intended?
I do not recall how it exactly was. I believe we were doing a video first. I really cannot recall. We just liked it, you know. We thought it would be a nice treat, so we did a casual photo session as well. But the suit photos we liked a bit more, so we've put them in, and also the whole divine machine, you know, ex machina thing, Deus ex machina thing, somehow worked on the album, and it is a big essential part of most of the lyrics. So we just felt that this was another definition. And since there's that song "Life Beyond the Spheres," which is also dealing with such an aspect, I felt it would fit very well.
Yeah, what was the inspiration for Life Beyond the Spheres?
I wanted to. Most of the songs are fairly negative and critical, and since I was in a stadium like this when we did most of the songs with regard to the production and was dealing with the lyrics, and I wanted to have a positive aspect, and therefore I somehow came up with a Big Bang Theory, to say so. A universe would be created out of nothing, but there was that mental will in the essential core of this universe. Call it the anti-matter or whatever, it doesn't matter. And in this, story, this has happened a lot of time and always ended up in a catastrophe. And so there is an inside which is basically the antimatter with whatever is created out of it, and there's an outside, and the outsiders, they were observing it within the story, and they are considering whether they have to stop the process or not, and they just decide to let it go for another run.
Is it a bit like the simulation theory, that someone else is watching us in the simulation?
I haven't thought about that. It was really more like just storytelling, and then coming up with that positive event where they, even against better knowing or understanding, they just say, well, let's give it another try. Maybe they are good enough to sort out whatever happens. Because this antimatter is sleeping, basically. It's a being which, does no harm when it's sleeping. And it's not awaking, but it's somehow dreaming and creating, and this is how the universe starts to exist.
I love it. This is one of my favorite songs on your album, by the way.
It is a great song, no doubt. It's a different one. It's more in the tradition of Bright Eyes with a slightly more modern approach. We were very happy about it, and basically the story fits very well.
Oh yeah, and you have a really busy tour schedule. Oh. You're now in September and October. Oh yeah, we have 2 minutes, but we can still talk about the tour. Yes, you're going to be on a big European tour in September and October, then you play in Turkey, then you go next year, you start with, I think, 70,000 tons of metal, and then you go to Australia. So what are you especially excited for on this tour?
Everything. It's the way. I mean, and I literally mean it. You never can say where the highlights pop up, and there usually are a lot. We always love to go to South America, but...
I forgot that. Yeah, you're going to be is it in November you're going to be in South America?
It doesn't matter, We haven't been in Turkey for a long, long time, so that is something I really look up for. But there's no show where I could say, well, this is minor. It's not existing.
Cool. And what is the craziest thing you and your bandmates have ever done on tour?
We are not very crazy.
You just write crazy songs?
We do what we feel best, We did a Halloween show in Worcester in the United States on Halloween. I don't think that's very spectacular, but it was fun. I don't know. I mean, we're just performing. We're there. We don't think about it. I believe if you create something crazy, on intention, then it's not crazy. So.
No, the best stuff happens by accident, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And there were a lot of accidents,
Do you want to say anything to your fans?
Yeah. Don't miss us on the road. It's very important that you're there. And I also hope that since we're in Finland, we may have a chance to come back to at least Helsinki and play a club show or a venue show here. And you better don't miss that.
I hope that too, because I want to see it. Ja, dann vielen Dank für das interessante Interview, Hansi. Ja, danke, mir auch. Und tschüss aus der Music Interview Corner.
Bis dann.